This group doesn't give a damn about politics, kneeling, none of that bullshit. You're just trying to make that paper, and god dang it, I can dig it. What's up, guys? My name is Adam, and this is Broke Man Finance, a channel where we try to help you make good decisions with your money. But those decisions are ultimately yours. Speaking of making you money, make sure you go down to the description below and check out those links. There are links to the savings account that I use, Patreon, Discord, Stock Whispers for great breaking news and option plays, and much more. But remember, I'm no financial advisor. I'm just a guy from North Carolina. Now, this isn't breaking news, but a lot of people still have not heard about Colin Kaepernick helping to bring a SPAC to market. Athletes and celebrities, they've done this in the past. Actually, Alex Rodriguez, I just did a video on that here recently that he's doing the same thing, but there are some distinct differences. Now, I'm going to assume that you've at least heard of Colin Kaepernick, so I'm not going to rehash his entire bio. But if you are somewhat unfamiliar, Kaepernick is a former NFL quarterback. Kaepernick has not stepped out onto an NFL field since 2016, which was his last year with the 49ers. During that season, he famously chose to kneel during the national anthem to draw attention to police brutality and racial inequality. That sparked a national debate and threw Kaepernick into a position of national influence. That debate and influence are going to follow him to Wall Street, and I'm going to get to that in a second. But an interesting thing about this one, as opposed to Alex Rodriguez and some of these other famous SPACs, is the fact that I think a lot of people are going to find themselves in several camps. The first one is the hell to the no camp. This is the camp that wants nothing to do with Kaepernick. They want nothing to do with anything that he represents, is a part of, nothing. There are still people boycotting the NFL because of the Kaepernick kneeling stuff that happened in 2016. There are some very strong opinions about Kaepernick. Just like buttholes, everybody's got one. The second camp are going to be people that are investing into this SPAC based off what it represents and is trying to do on a cultural level. These people may invest into it just based off emotion and what they believe could be a morally righteous investment, and not necessarily, maybe not necessarily looking at company fundamentals, whatever. They're just looking at this from a righteous standpoint and what they feel is bigger than just investing in a stock. Think about it like GameStop. Not that they're the same, but there are some similarities. There was a group of people that invested because of the short squeeze that were solely trying to make money. Diamond hands, I feel you out there. But there was a group of people out there, a substantial group of people that started investing their money, willing to lose it, just because they felt like they were involved in something bigger than them, and it was giving a big middle finger to Wall Street. A lot of people out there never looked at anything that had that actual. Nobody probably read GameStop's quarterly reports or looked at their financials. They just saw that there was a movement happening and they wanted to be a part of it, so they just threw money at it, knowing good and well it could be lost. That's what I'm saying could potentially happen here with that camp. The third camp is you bloodthirsty money grubbers. God, I love you. This group doesn't give a damn about politics, kneeling, none of that bullshit. You're just trying to make that paper, and god dang it, I can dig it. That's it. Bottom line, will it make me money or not? That's all that matters. Everything else, all the hype surrounding it, everything else is white noise. Bottom line is, will it make me money or not? That's all I care about. Let's talk about the SPAC. Kaepernick plans to raise $280 million for a special purpose acquisition company focused on racial equality and social justice issues. The SPAC is called Mission Advancement Corporation. I'm not quite sure what the ticker symbol was going to be yet, but they are going to target companies with an enterprise value greater than $1 billion that have a scalable business model and an established U.S. customer base. Now, Kaepernick is the co-sponsor and co-chairman of Mission Advancement Corporation, working in partnership with the Najafi Companies, which is a private equity firm who states their mission is to do well and do good. Here's what the filing had to say. The mission of the Najafi and Kaepernick partnership is to identify, acquire, and advance a company with the aim of creating meaningful financial and societal value. We believe Mr. Kaepernick's substantial business experience combined with his long-term leadership on racial equity and justice issues will support our success in identifying a prospective target company and adding transformational value to the combined entity. The filing noted Kaepernick has worked with global brands such as Nike, Disney, Netflix, Apple, Beats by Dre, Medium, EA Sports, Amazon's Audible, and Ben & Jerry's in recent years. Now, when I see companies like this being listed as his extensive business experience, I've got to push back a little bit. Now, he was sponsored by these companies. I don't believe he was running day-to-day operations. He didn't walk up at Nike and start running shit. Let's be serious. Now, do I think he's got extensive experience on marketing and kind of guiding avenues of how that marketing should take place and having a huge level of influence in that section? Yes. Do I think he walked up in Ben & Jerry's and explained to them how to sell ice cream? Negative. I do not. But articles are spinning it as if he was an executive at Apple or an executive at Nike. Now, I'm not saying he didn't learn some business practices. I don't know what he learned and what he didn't learn, but I don't think he walked up at Apple and started telling them how to do things. I do believe he's got a great deal of business experience when it comes to making himself a brand and running that brand and probably putting a smart team around him. As a business leader, that's the best thing you can do is put people in positions that are smarter than you when it comes to your weaknesses. But it ain't running none of that. But from my understanding, Kaepernick is going to help lead the SPAC and help market the SPAC, which is exactly where I believe his strengths would lie. As an indication of its mission, the company's board of directors is 100% black, indigenous, and people of color, and the majority is female. Now, here are a few of the people on the board, and I apologize if I butcher the names. Directors include Google marketing executive Attica Jaquez, former Apple executive Omar Johnson, and Birchbox co-founder and CEO Katia Beauchamp. Now, that is certainly some legitimate business experience. Now, check this out. A couple days ago, I put out a poll on the channel and I simply asked, would you invest in Colin Kaepernick's SPAC? The options were yes, no, I need more information, and yes because what it means culturally. We had nearly 200 votes with 12% saying yes, 53% saying no, 33% saying that they needed more information, and 2% said yes because of what it means culturally. So it is pretty divided. And there was one comment that said, need a hell no. So I would assume that he would be in the hell no camp. Shout out to you, Trevinus95. So which camp am I in? I am in that give me my money camp, okay? I want that paper. I don't care about anything else. Take all my opinions out of the mix politically, kneeling, doesn't matter. All I care about is that bottom line number. And I believe if you got in early to Kaepernick's SPAC, that us retail investors could, if we could hitch a ride on that run up because of the hype. We live in a world now of social media, Reddit, whatever, that we see these huge run-ups and you may see a drop-off later on. Look at Churchill Capital. Look at the run-up that Churchill Capital has had. Just based off, basically, remember, nothing's been definitively announced as of this filming about merging with Lucid. It's all on rumor. My God, they're like at almost $60 a share on rumor. When you look at Kaepernick, you take all the BS away, you got to admit that he has massive influence on people's emotions and can penetrate that emotion to invest their money into something. That alone could bring a lot of hype. Now, I'm just talking about not even caring about who they're going to merge with. I'm talking about if I was looking at this as a early investor, I am betting on, if I decided to invest, I would be betting on Kaepernick's influence, not his business acumen. I think the hype alone could get behind this thing and run. The influence Kaepernick has, regardless of what you think about it, you cannot deny his level of influence culturally across the entire world right now. I just don't see it being very difficult for Kaepernick or whomever to get on a finance TV show or TV shows, period, Jimmy Fallon, whatever, and bring this SPAC up. He could get on any show that he wants to, just like Alex Rodriguez. People will be lining up to talk to Kaepernick because they know that that's going to bring ratings. And how difficult do you think it would be to get some of Kaepernick's famous friends, especially the athletes that he's friends with? How hard do you think it would be to get them to promote it and bring their own level of influence to the game? I don't think that's very difficult. But what I would like to see is how they're going to market it, because everything's going to be based off, the way I'm looking at it, off of Kaepernick's ability to influence massive amount of people. If he can do that, I think this thing could have a huge run up on the short term until they start talking about merger stuff. And then the company that they're looking at starts coming into play, financials, that kind of thing. But right now, if they don't market it well, I'm going to stay away from it because I don't see it having enough run up. How many people out there just bought shoes and bought products that Colin Kaepernick was pushing just based off a feeling that they felt like they were helping just something bigger than them? That's what he could potentially bring to the SPAC if they market it right. So I don't know if I would invest yet, but on the short term, I think there is a high chance that if you got in early, you could see some good profits on the run up. And then once they announce the whatever company they decide to merge with or acquire, that's going to be a whole other issue. If I invested into this early, I would not be betting on Kaepernick's business acumen. He has smart people around him to handle that part. I will be betting on his reach and cultural influence and his ability to penetrate people's emotion to invest money and to spend their money in a certain direction. The same reason Nike had him on billboards plastered on Times Square, helping them sell shoes and whatever other products. Do you think people bought that product just to be a part of something bigger than them? Absolutely. But on the flip, do you think people boycotted that company and didn't want anything to do with it because of what Colin Kaepernick represented? Absolutely. This SPAC is a interesting short-term play to me. But I say short-term because we don't know nothing about the company they want to merge with yet. I'm simply looking at the history of these SPACs here lately and how they are having these massive run-ups like Churchill Capital, and Kaepernick's ability to get in front of people, market it, and have influence. So I do think there is a short-term play here. If you don't feel good about it morally and you don't want anything to do with it, okay. If you feel good about it morally and you feel like this is a righteous thing to do and you feel like it's bigger than the stock market, okay. If you think, hey, dude, I'm just trying to buy something for 10 and sell it for 20. Hey, dude, I like it. But regardless, I think it could be a good short-term play just on the hype. Now, long-term play, we'll talk about the long-term play later on. But worst case scenario, I think it does spark some interesting conversations, and I'd love to hear some of your comments in the comment section below. As always, I hope those stocks stay green. I hope you stay safe. I hope everyone out there takes care.